Welcome back to She Can, where role models inspire and guide us. Welcome, Sonia Gupta, to She Can. I'm excited to have you, Sonia. You're a relationship and divorce mentor and coach, and you help people turn heartbreak into healing through emotional empowerment, mindset work, and your signature concept, the divorce party, which is something that went viral and you'll tell us more about. You have a fresh and transformative take on what it is that this is not the end of something, but the beginning of something new and beautiful. A near-death experience reshaped how you view love, loss, and second chances, and we'll hear more about that, and how resilience, reinvention, and reclaiming your joy can turn your life around. So, Sonia, tell us a little bit more about those pivotal points in your journey that led you to where you are today.
So, hi, Stephanie. So, I had a very long, arduous, complicated divorce. So that's really, I suppose, where this journey started from. It took me over 12 years to get out my marriage. And you would think, okay, some people say their marriage is even longer, but my biggest battle was actually my mum and dad. So my own family were against me getting that divorce. So in that South Asian community, divorce is quite taboo.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest battle. And then I went through 3 years of court. But the most pivotal point was when my divorce came through, I actually threw a divorce party, which is unheard of, even more unheard of in the South Asian community. And it went global. And that's when I thought, gosh, I didn't realize that my story was so inspiring and helped so many other people along the way. I was just telling them my story and I just did what was right for me and my family. And it's changed the life for myself and lots of other people. So then that's when I launched my divorce mentoring and coaching.
Sonia, it's so inspiring to hear you speak. This light bulb moment in those days after you posted that, you understood this went viral, it went across the world. People thought your story was really inspiring, turned you into your purpose, something that is now your purpose, your job. Tell us a bit more how you work, how people can work with you, the unique method that you sort of work with your clients, or let's say people that need your support.
Yeah, so I have quite a different approach. So I feel like when I was going through my divorce, my friends were there, but they didn't really understand because they've not been there. My family were only there really towards the end. And then I had the lawyers.
Mm.
So there was nobody really in my emotional corner, if that makes sense. There was the legal people. My friends didn't understand. Part of it was really lonely. So what I've devised is I mentor and coach people more from the emotional angle. I'm not
Mm.
legally qualified. I can say this is what they're looking for, but I can't do the legal work. But I can emotionally be there. And that's something you really do need because you don't have anybody in that corner. And everybody who's your friend or your family, they're going to give you a biased answer, a biased opinion. They won't see it laterally. Whereas I will give you a very honest opinion and I'm not bitter, I'm not emotionally invested. So I feel that approach makes such a big difference because when you're fighting your ex, be it the husband or the wife, there's always a little bit of emotion, bitterness there. And you don't make informed decisions, you make
Mm.
emotional decisions. And that has a really big impact on the outcome. And I'll tell you, like, a few examples. I was living together the whole time with my ex while we were going through this divorce. So there was multiple situations that became volatile and argumentative. And then I'd go to my lawyers and say, oh, he did this, he did this. They would write to him. I'd spend 250, £300 on a letter. It had no impact on the final hearing, no impact on the outcome. But if somebody had told me that, I would have saved myself a whole load of money. And if I had somebody to talk to about these things who could give me a non-biased view on it, then that would have helped. I had somebody to go to and express those emotions and those situations, somebody that can put it into perspective, and I would have saved myself a whole load of money. And I just feel like there's that missing. So that's what I've launched. It's a Sonia thing. And I don't do it from in a clinical room. I will do it on Zoom. But my thing is I'd rather meet the person face to face, go for a coffee with them, go for brunch with them, or something. So it's like you're talking to a friend, but I don't have any emotional connections. So I can be very honest with my advice. And I always say that at the beginning, I will tell you how it is. You may not like what I've got to say.
Yeah.
But that's what you're paying me for.
Yeah. Sonia, I think you are definitely someone who confronts these societal stigmas, right? It always looks worse on a woman than it looks on a man, the divorce. You were mentioning before in South Asian relationships, it's really even more difficult. It's already very difficult, but it's even more difficult in South Asian relationships. So give us some top tips for people who are going through a separation now. What would your top tips be for them? What should they be thinking about?
You've got to think about the end goal and the result and what you really want. Because if I had listened to everybody along my journey, I'd still be married and deeply unhappy. Everyone that tried to stop me, everyone who said, I'm not thinking about the children, everyone said, I'm not thinking about how it's going to upset my family and his family and all those things, because all families get involved. All I was thinking about is me and my children. And now that I do a lot of reflection, I actually think I did my ex a favor as well, because we were all unhappy. So initially, I'd always say I fought for me and my two boys. But actually, he was, if I'm not happy and the kids aren't happy, he's hardly happy himself. So in the end, I ended up fighting for all four of us to have a better, happier life. But it was only with persistence and perseverance. And my keywords are own your journey and own your story, because somebody's always going to have something negative to say. It doesn't matter how you do it, whether you get married and whether you don't get married, they'll be like, oh, you haven't got married. And you get married and say you don't have children straight away, then why haven't you had children? Or, oh my gosh, you're divorced. Why did you get divorced? Someone's always got something to say. You've just got to do what's right for you. And what's right for me may not be right for you or the next person. You have to know what you want. But then once you make that decision, you have to just fight it till the end, which is what I did.
Sonia, and did you feel that people were judgier with you than they were with your husband? Or, I mean, do you feel that women are still judged harsher?
I feel they are. I feel definitely women are judged harsher. I I think for me though, because I'm quite a strong character, I kind of just took it in my stride. I don't really care what other people say or think anymore. I used to. I've got to a point where, I mean, I've had multiple people say things about, especially being from the South Asian community, about the fact that I talk about it very openly. I'm not promoting divorce at all. What I'm saying is you've got to do what's right for you. I walk around with pink hair. I do what I want to do. So I've already got this kind of label. She does what she wants anyway. Um, so I have been quite, I think, say the word lucky in a way. People approach me about divorce because I don't let them say anything negative because I own my journey. Whereas I think if I was a little bit weaker or not so vocal about it, people would probably say a lot more.
Yeah. Sonia, so to talk to us about this moment when you understood that your story had so much resonance out in the world, what did that make you feel like?
So even now, I still sometimes have like a check me moment, like really. So my divorce, my circumstances were going on for like over a decade, and I kind of kept it just between friends and family, and they kind of knew what was going on. And it wasn't until Mother's Day 2021 I did my first social media post very openly about my divorce and my parents coming to my house for the first time in like 10 years because they wouldn't come over before. And we had breakfast. And I just wrote a post saying it was really nice to have them over. And I've been through this journey. And I had a huge response. I was like, this is interesting. But then I didn't think of it and I left it. It's like, okay, it's just the one post. And I told people what I'd been through, kind of. But it was when I did the divorce party that changed the landscape and the trajectory of everything. That was phenomenal. So I just decided, I think it was July, and I thought I really want to have a summer party, and it was my birthday as well around that time. But it was COVID around that time, so I could only have up to 30 people. I said to my children, that's not going to work for me. I've got like the huge circle. So I think the ban for the 30 people lifted in like August. So I said to my kids, let's do this party. Let's have like a summer party. It was only in my back garden. It wasn't anything too extravagant. But I'm very colourful. I like my colour pink. So I had a unicorn theme party, which was unicorn bouncy castle, unicorn cake, mobile cocktail bar, DJ, marquee, and I had all my friends, my kids, their friends. Because what I'd found is in the 12 years while I was trying to extricate myself from this marriage, nobody would come over. Why would they? I didn't like being in this environment. Why would they come over? So we had like this family affair, and one of my friends put it then on their network, on their social media network, and said, one of our members threw a divorce party, would you? So this reporter got in touch with them and said, oh, we want to speak to Sonia. So I was like, okay, I'll have a chat with her. So I had a chat with this girl. And I said, where does this go? She said, we put it on the network. If somebody picks it up, that's fine. And honestly, Stephanie didn't think anything of it. A week goes by. It's Monday morning. I'm merrily in my office working away. And my friend messages me and says, you're in the mirror, and sends me a screenshot. It's like, what do you mean? He's like, you're in the mirror, something. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not joking. I was like, what is this? And it says, woman throws her own divorce party after 17 years of marriage. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. I was like, this sounds like a lot of fun. So that was that. And my family obviously were not impressed. But that the Monday. And then the Tuesday, I started getting notifications from my family in India that, Aunt, you are trending on social media. You're on notifications. Indian woman throws divorce party. And that was it. That just started everything. The papers, the magazines, the TV, the radio. I was everywhere because you don't get divorced in our culture, let alone celebrate. And I think that was the start of it, when people then started reaching out saying, you're really inspiring. Thank you for your journey and telling us about your story. And it wasn't just women. I had men reach out as well saying, it's just really inspiring to hear that you can come out the other side and there is life after divorce. But the one that really sticks out for me was a woman. She read my story and she found me on Facebook and she said, I felt compelled to find you. Your story is amazing, but I just want to say thank you for my daughters, because I've changed the landscape of things within our culture.
You have, Sonia, and congratulations. It's really an incredible story. I'm wondering, how was your near-death experience contributing to this? How did that change your outlook on life?
So that near-death experience was only this year. That was this year. So I carried on with life after the divorce as a single parent, doing everything you need to do. And I think that was it. I just carried on pushing myself because as a single parent, it's all on you. Yeah. Even though their dad is around and he sees the boys, but ultimately the financial burden pretty much lies with me. And so I don't phone in sick to work. I carry on, I network. And in February this year, I ended up on a ventilator. So unconscious, in a coma. How has that changed things for me? I'm still processing, Stephanie. It has changed things. I've realised that it's not all on me. I have to stop. I have to look after myself. It's not just about looking after the kids and my family. If I don't look after me, there will be no me. So it's changed the way I view things and a little bit about boundaries, saying no to certain things. If somebody wants something done, I can say, well, actually, I can't do that today. So it's changed the landscape of things, but that is still so fresh. Um, Still processing all that.
Sonia, and what do you feel are sort of the biggest challenges for people when they think about divorcing, or they understand that their relationships and their family life is not working and it's not benefiting them, their children, their partners?
So I think that one of the biggest questions is financially, can I do it? Can
Mm.
I do it by myself? And that's a big question, especially with the cost of living crisis. It's really hard for families to divorce these days. You find a lot of people are staying within their marriages but separated because trying to rehouse, rehome, financially do it, it's not impossible, but it's really tough. And what you don't want to be is in a situation where you divorce, you've got separate lives. Yes, you should get maintenance, whichever way around it is, from the mum or the dad, whoever's doing providing that maintenance. What you don't want to be is beholden to that maintenance, because the moment you're beholden to that maintenance, the other person's still in control. If it's a difficult breakup, if it's an amicable breakup and you know it's all going to be fine, then it's very different. But if you're in a very difficult breakup and it's not amicable, the moment that person knows you are reliant on them for that money, they're still in control. So when I speak to women in particular who maybe haven't been working or anything, and they're like, well, I want a divorce and he earns X amount of money and he's going to give me X amount, I said, that's fine. But the moment there is an issue, if he or she pulls that money, what are you going to do? So for me, it's about standing on your own 2 feet, being a bit independent and not be solely reliant on the other person to carry you through life, because they're always going to have control.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing you don't want. So that's quite important. So financial independence is key, but it's also one of the biggest problems.
Yeah. Sonia, so how do you feel you speak to people so they listen? Because you have this unique way of showing up authentically and vulnerably, and that really resonated with the world that heard your story. So how do you feel one can speak to people so they listen?
For me, when I speak to people, there's no blanket answer for anybody.
Mm.
Everybody's scenario, everybody's circumstances are different. So the way I do is I will get all the background to what's going on with them and then tell them potentially what their options are. Because what is right for me may not be right for you. What I want from a relationship may be different to what somebody else wants from a relationship. People used to just tell me all the time, just pack your bags and go, just pack your bags and go. But I was so entwined within my family financially. My mum and dad, we both worked for my mum and dad. I couldn't just pack my bags and go.
Yeah.
So everybody's story is unique and everybody's circumstances are different. So there is no one blanket answer.
Mm.
So you can only support somebody by giving them what's right for them.
Sonia, and how do you feel you lead by example? What kind of a leader do you think you are and want to be?
I think I am quite an empathetic leader. I think I really understand people well without even realizing it. I can pick up on people's emotions, what they're going through. So I feel from that angle, that's that's always quite helpful. But I think also my journey in itself is quite inspiring. So the fact that I'm just quite strong, I managed to push through, broke stigma, broke barriers. I get called trailblazing and all kinds, and I'm like, but and I look back and like, seriously? They're like, you don't realize your story is really inspiring. But for me, I think it's definitely I just did what I needed to do. I didn't go out with the aim, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to inspire people across the world. I just did what was right for me and my family. So I think it's just a natural gift, if I can call it that.
Sonia, and with everything that happened, your divorce, 12 years that you were trying to divorce, finally a divorce, your own life, the party, the incredible outpouring of sympathy for your story, and you're growing into this role model within the South Asian community of someone who breaks these stigmas, and your near-death experience. What do you feel most matters to you now, and how do you want to matter?
So for me, I think what matters to me now the most is supporting people to make the right choices. Now, that also doesn't always mean divorce, definitely, because I have a number
Mm,
of women that come to me and say, I think my marriage is over. And I'll be like, okay, tell me what's going on. And when I hear what's going on, I'll be like, your marriage isn't over. It's glass half empty or glass half full. Which way do you want to view it? And I had a lady come to me recently, and she was, I think, in her 60s, and she'd recently retired. And she said, I really love my husband, and he's wonderful. And she was singing his praises, but she goes, but there's just this missing. And I said, okay, so what's going on? And she said, well, I've got more time on my hands. I'm just at home. She said, I said, what do you like doing? So she told me what she liked doing. I said, start going back to doing some of those things you really like doing. And you'll find that there is nothing wrong with your marriage. He's not done anything differently that he's been doing in the last 30, 40 years. It's just you've got more time on your hands. So, and she was like, oh, nobody's ever said that to me. And I was like, because you're automatically blaming him, whereas he actually hasn't done anything different. You've now got a different view. And so you're looking at things differently. And the moment she started doing these new projects, she spoke to me again. She's like, you are absolutely right. There's nothing wrong. I'm really happy. So for me, I'm not promoting divorce. I'm not saying you need to get divorced. I'm looking at your relationship as a whole and saying, yes, sometimes I'd be like, yeah, you need to get out. And sometimes it's like, actually, it's not that bad. And
yeah,
so I think for me, it's just helping people make those right choices.
yeah,
That's what it's about.
yeah. Very, very beautiful. Sonia, so what plans and goals do you have? What are the things that you're sort of planning for this year and the next years?
I mean, for this year, in all fairness, I took a little bit of a step back with obviously nearly dying.
Yeah.
Um, so now the rest of the year, I'm just going with the flow. I do want to do more speaking events. I maybe travel a little bit more and talk to people about my journey and inspire them. Yeah, I think that's really where I want to go. But let's see. Quite happy where things are right now too. So it's taking a day at a time.
Sonia, and what takeaways would you like our audience to have from listening to your story?
So I think you need to reflect. If you're feeling like your relationship isn't where it should be, I think reflect, reassess, and then make some choices. But always get advice. Always speak to somebody, a third party. It's never the end of the road. If it's the end of a chapter, there's always a new beginning. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. Divorce isn't the end of the road at all. So there's always something new and different to look forward to. You've just got to embrace it the right way.
Yeah, beautiful. Sonia, I'm so grateful that you came onto She Can to tell your story. I love the story. It's very powerful, and I'm excited to feature you. And everyone, please, if you feel that this resonates and you need Sonia to support you, you can find her under Sonia Gupta, and you have an Instagram handle, and you're on LinkedIn, I think, and it's very easy to find you, and we'll put the handles in your story.
Thank you. I mean, a lot of it's called It's a Sonia Thing. So
It's a Sonia
I've got
thing.
two Instagrams, which is Sonia Gupta, It's a Sonia Thing, and then there's one that just It's a Sonia Thing. That's the main one I use. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sonia.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you.